Define and determine the elements of fair division. So this is the beginning of fair division, the introduction. So what is it? Well, the basic idea of fair division states that we are going to do a division of items in a way so that each party feels they have received their fair share. Now, when we do this, we are dividing between two or more parties. Now, you can think of this in a lot of different ways. You can think of 4 friends go out to eat and they're sharing the bill. We are dividing fairly. You can say, you order a pizza that has 8 slices and there's 3 people. How do we divide those 8 slices fairly, right? So this is the idea. We can talk about things as serious as, dividing up property inside of a house, or, because that can be kind of contentious at times, or the idea of there's 24 cookies in this container and there's 2 of us, what's fair, kind of an idea, right? So a lot of different things can be divided. So the assumptions that we must make when talking about the fair division method. Number 1, the parties are non-cooperative, meaning the method must operate without communication between the parties. So we're not doing negotiations here because negotiation is not always fair. Okay, so the fair division deals without communication. How do we make this fair based off what we know? Number 2, the parties do not know what others value most. So if we're talking about a pizza, maybe half the pizza has pepperoni and half has sausage. The parties don't know whether you prefer pepperoni or sausage. That is a very calm example, but that's the idea. We don't know what is the most important. So we have to just think about what is the most fair. We also must assume that the parties are rational in dealing with this in a rational way. You might think there's no way, but this is an assumption. And what we mean by the parties are rational is that all of the people involved will act in their best interest and not make emotional decisions. Because we all know that when emotions are high, whether we're talking about happiness or grief or any other type of emotion, we sometimes let those emotions dictate what our next actions will be. So in the fair division method, we take out all of our emotions, put them aside, and we only act in our best interest. That is the idea of being rational. And that we can make this fair division without outside intervention. So we don't need an arbitrator. We don't need a negotiator. We don't need anyone like that to come in and kind of help us out. We can sit down and say, okay, this is what's fair to both parties. This is how the division will be. So let's do an example. And we're going to do kind of a calm example. A vacation package is purchased for 4 friends and costs $750. What is each friend's fair share of the cost? Well, again, this is kind of a calm example, but we know we have the total cost is $750, and the number of people that are dividing evenly within this is 4. So if we think about each friend's fair share of the cost, we're going to divide the total cost by those 4 people. And that means the fair share of the cost is $187.50 per person. If each person pays that amount, now we have the fair share. We didn't have to communicate to talk about that. Someone simply had to punch that into the calculator, send the text, and whoever made the initial the initial purchase, the other 3 friends need, Venmo or Zelle or send a check or a carrier pigeon or drop off some cash. Doesn't matter how it happens, $187.50 per person, and we have ourselves fair division.